You guys have thrown in some new looks this year, whether it was using the pistol a little bit and kind of using the tight ends in a different way. How would you say the playbook has evolved in your time here?
I think a lot of it just has to do with the personnel that you have each year. I think year one, we had some really, really good receivers, and I think the thing that gave us the best chance to be successful was to get in, 10 personnel, and that just that fit our team. I think that each year you're going to look different based on who you have and who gives you the best chance to be successful, and what you got to do to try to move the football. And so, but there's been some evolving too, and like I said, some of it's personnel, some of it's the guys got a little better grasp on what we're trying to accomplish, and so you can do a little bit more with them. And so I think there's multiple factors that go into it. So that's kind of where it is. I think, again, it depends on who you have and who you think gives you the best chance to move it.
And halfway through the season, how would you grade Keaton out?
Yeah, I think Keaton's throwing the ball really, really well. The ball's jumping out of his hands. I think there's been a couple of throws that he's been a little headstrong, but other than that, I think that he's played at a high level. And like I said, he does a lot for us. I think in the run game, we put more on him to get us into the right runs, and it's helped us be more efficient in the run game. I think that in the pass game, obviously, it's pretty similar stuff that we've always done, and he's just, in year 3 of it, has a pretty good grasp of it. But I think the ball's jumping out of his hands. He's throwing it well. He's been accurate, and he's done a lot of good things.
Where would you say the offensive line has progressed, and maybe where would you like it to be in a better place after half the season?
I think they've done some good things, and with 2 young tackles, like there's going to be some growing pains with that, but like I said, those guys, both those 2 freshman tackles, are going to be really, really good football players, and I think they both have a chance to be really good NFL football players, not just here, and so, but they are young, and like I said, that's probably the hardest position, in my opinion, in football to play young, is at the offensive line position. Probably because you're an 18-year-old going against older guys, like they're just still that physical maturity level. Mentally, they're both very sharp. They do a lot of good things, but they're still growing, still maturing as young men. So it's been fun to watch them develop. I think that they've done a great job. Like in the run game, I think that we're doing some good things. And Jones is as good of a run blocker as I've seen, to be honest with you. He may be the best run blocker we have on that entire offensive line. We got a lot of guys that played a lot of games in there. And so he does some good things there. I think that as far as the growth is just in pass protection, I think just sitting it down, and that's where, it's not that they're very athletic as a unit. They're very athletic. There's just times that the pocket kind of gets collapsed because of push, and that has something to do with we got to be very technical, fundamentally. And some of it has to do with physical strength, but I do think they're getting better each week. And like I said, when they play at a high level, the offense goes pretty well.
You've been around some great receivers. What would you say is the one thing that makes Drake stand out, or what, if you had to boil it down to?
Yeah, I don't know if there's one thing. I think obviously his size helps. He's a giant with incredible ball skills, and I think that it's hard to find really, really big people with really good ball skills, and there's not many of them out there, and he's one of them. And then not only does he have the ball skills, but he gets in and out of breaks like kind of like a little guy, you know what I mean? And for big people, that's hard to do. And so, I think Crabtree, I know it's been a while since, I don't know if y'all remember Crabtree, but that's kind of what he reminds me of from that standpoint. Crabtree was a 220-pound guy, big, with great ball skills, but moved around and got in and out of cuts like a little guy, you know what I mean? And that's just rare for people that size, I think that most people that size, it's kind of like God has to be fair. Like, you can't give them everything. Drake somehow got everything, you know what I mean? Like, if you're that big, you're not supposed to have that kind of ball skills. If you're that big with those kind of ball skills, like, you can't get in and out of breaks, you're kind of stiff. But he kind of has the total package from that standpoint. And he's obviously been blessed with a ton of abilities. And I think that, like I said, Crabtree is the kind of guy that he kind of reminds me of things. So Crabtree wasn't as tall as him, but Crabtree was long and strong and big with great ball skills and great in and out of cuts. But the other thing about Drake, every time I talk about him, I feel like you got to mention it, is he's an incredible person. You know what I mean? He works extremely hard. He does everything right on and off the field. He's the kind of guy that, like I said, you trust him with your life. If I left my son with him, I think my son would be very good. I'd have no worries, and that's just the kind of guy he is. And so, like I said, ability-wise, he has it all, but the type of person he is, I think, really separates him as a player as well, because that matters.
You've talked about having to love your players before you can coach them hard. I'm just curious in relative to the recent John Gruden allegations and all that kind of stuff, how has the definition of coaching hard evolved in your time as a coach about what you can do and how you communicate with players?
Yeah, I think that's the Gruden situation, the sticky situation, obviously, and I don't know Gruden, so I can't really speak on him, but I do know, like you said, that times have changed, and so I think that the way that you can handle people and some things that you can say obviously change with time. But I do think that if those guys know you love them, that there's not a lot of things that they take personal, and that's important, And from a coaching them hard standpoint, I think, like I said, you can get in their face, you can yell at them, but I do think there's a line as far as, and I think that line has changed definitely. And I haven't even coached that long, but even in I don't know, whatever it is, 10 years or so that I've coached, I think the line's changed quite a bit on certain things you can say. But I think that most importantly, obviously you can't come after them from a personal standpoint. I mean, from a lifestyle standpoint more than anything. I think that you can get on them, you can talk to them harshly. You can talk to them harshly from a performance standpoint. But from a lifestyle standpoint, you better stay away from any of those topics, obviously. But again, I think if you have a great relationship with the guys, I think certain people's lines are probably different because just of who they are and what they kind of believe. Obviously, like I said, from a playing standpoint, if they know you care about them, if they know you love them, I think you can be as hard as you want on them from, like I said, from a performance standpoint. And they're not going to take that as a personal attack because they know you care about them as a person. Like I said, from a lifestyle standpoint, that's something you probably shouldn't.